Someone passes you in the supermarket and you notice that their pineapple is upside down. What does that mean?
The demand for jigsaw puzzles soared globally during the COVID-19 pandemic. Where did jigsaw puzzles come from originally?
WD-40's versatility has given it fame as a jack of all trades. Who invented it and why?
And finally, in this episode, we look at Chinese finger traps. You know, the ones they celebrate on the TV series Severance. How have they become a metaphor for commitment?
Hello and welcome to REMORANDOM, a celebration of everything interesting. I'm Remo Giuffre.
And I'm Claudia Chanshaw.
So Claudia, in our last episode, I mentioned that I went to the TED conference in Vancouver. Well, rather than flying straight home, I thought I would take a detour. Well, not really a detour, like went right out of my way to go across to the other side of the US, to New York, my old stomping ground, to catch up with some friends. But I had a purpose there too. I was really wearing my REMORANDOM hat to talk to smart design thinkers and get their feedback on what we're doing and what we've done so far, and maybe what we can do in the future with possibly a different manifestation in parallel to the book series. So not a best of, but something that might be happier out there in the trade in bookstores than a series which kind of tends to do people's head in, when you tell them, is it a magazine? Is it a book? No, it's a biannual book series. So I have to say I had a great visit, lots of really interesting chats, lots of insight. I stayed with my friend Tucker V. Meister of Tucker's toothpaste collection fame from volume 1 of REMORANDOM.
I want to meet Tucker.
Yeah, Tucker's great. Tucker was, did I already tell you this one time? Tucker was named after the Tucker automobile that his father designed when he was in his 20s, young.
Tucker, the man in his dream.
Young Reed V. Meister was so happy with how he was designing the Tucker automobile that he named his son Tucker, and that's my friend. Caught up with Stephen Heller at the School of Fine Arts, who's this kind of legendary guy who was the design editor of the New York Times for 30 years and has written, and I know how hard it is to write books, but Stephen has written 200 of them. So it was a fantastic time. I'm really just recently back, still reeling from it, but
it's very exciting.
Hadn't been for a couple of years. So good things are cooking. Good things are cooking for REMORANDOM.
Watch this space, folks. Watch this space.
Anyway, I want to talk to you about pineapples, but not any old pineapple. I want to talk to you about upside down pineapples. So where did this come from? REMORANDOM number 2, the orange one, has this chapter. For me, upside down pineapple started life as a t-shirt design. Claudia's holding up the orange one. Beautiful. Nice product placement.
Lovely. Very nice.
The Remo General Store had a big t-shirt design department, and in 1990, a Brooklyn-based designer whose name was Beth Bartholomew submitted a design of an upside-down pineapple. Accompanying her artwork were these words: "Why do continents drift apart? Why do babies cry so much? Why do we have two eyes? Why are pineapples upside down? Is upside down one word?" And I know, very funny. Turned into a T-shirt. We coloured it in at some point so that it was not black and white. All very innocent, but little did we know at that time that subsequent to the Remo T-shirt design, upside down pineapple, it would take on this whole new meaning. Something very particular and namely a signifier for swingers, as in sexual.
Oh, is it like having a hanky poking out of your back pocket,
Yeah,
left
yeah,
or
swinger.
right?
People who enjoy having sex with third parties in tandem with their partners, quoting from the
Oh,
book. So
wow.
that's what swinging is. So back up to pineapple. So since American colonists began importing pineapples from the Caribbean and South America in the 1700s, the fruit has been associated with hospitality. You know,
Pina colada.
a pineapple on your doorstep, for example. But they were scarce, and they were served originally just to the most honoured guests. So it had this kind of like noble image. But the first reference to an upside down pineapple happened in 2006 in the Urban Dictionary. But the first time it was specifically defined there as being a symbol for swingers was in 2017. So if you see someone in a supermarket with a trolley and there's a pineapple up in there and it's upside down, you get the message, right? You know what they're after. That's what they're after.
Whoa.
It's also appears as in tattoos, on anklets, in jewelry, and especially on cruise ships for some reason. The if you stick an upside down pineapple on the door of your cabin, that's also the secret code for other swingers on the ship that they've hit the mother lode there.
The love boat, come in my pineapple room tonight.
So yeah, but just remember, we're only talking about upside down pineapples here. So if you've got a pineapple that's right way up, you're in the clear. But those kind of printed yardage prints where there's pineapples every which way, that's a bit confusing because you don't
That doesn't
know.
count.
You
Oh,
don't,
yeah, yes,
you don't know.
that
You don't
could
know
say
what's
too
happened.
much.
All I want to say, but I want to finish on this little anecdote, once again referencing the Remo store and its customers. So we got this email from Buff Dixon. Buff is a
Great name.
woman. She's a long time customer, and she says, "We live." And Buff's husband is a man of the clergy. I don't know what you'd call him, like a preacher, right? So we live near Chicago now, and my husband is a college professor and a preacher. His classic look is a t-shirt and a blazer. One of his favorite t-shirts I gifted him was the upside down pineapple. He was a guest speaker in Green Bay, Wisconsin recently, and afterwards at a pub, the barman, who had been at the church service, asked John, a little uncomfortably, if he knew what his shirt meant. "No idea, my wife gave it to me." "Thanks for telling me." So this is the wife to us. "Thanks for telling me. Thanks for telling me I'd given my husband a swingers symbol. Any other coded pictures that would be inappropriate for a vicar's wife to gift? I guess I'll find out in your next book." Anyway, so the preacher subsequently contacted us to order a bunch of other T-shirts. The not pineapple ones though. The light bulb.
Oh, okay.
The light bulb and the fez are his other faves. I think he's going to be steering clear of the upside down pineapple in the future. But unintended consequences and completely innocent on our behalf. We were there first with the upside down pineapple before this kind of lurid association reared its ugly head.
I'm shocked. Absolutely shocked. Well, that's a puzzling one, isn't it? Very, very puzzling. I've got puzzles to talk to you about now.
Yes.
Because during COVID, we were sort of staying at home a lot, weren't we? And a lot of us rediscovered the humble jigsaw puzzle. I love a jigsaw puzzle. Do you like jigsaw puzzles?
I like watching my daughter do them, but
Oh,
maybe not
really?
doing them
You like
myself.
to watch?
Yeah, I like
We're
to
back
watch.
to the upside down pineapple. Stop it.
She Lola does them, but she doesn't look at the picture. She can do them without looking at the picture, so that's good too.
Oh, she's a savant.
Yeah,
Excellent. Well, she could probably do the jigsaw puzzle upside down then,
I'm sure
because
she
she's
could. Yeah.
going by shape. Anyway, so jigsaw puzzles, they're absorbing, they're mindful, they're screen free, and they're a balm during uncertain times, are they not? And when nothing else seems to make sense, getting one piece to fit into another
Yeah,
is very, very soothing. Makes
I can
perfect
feel that
sense.
satisfaction. Yes.
Yeah. So where did jigsaw puzzles come from? So in the 18th century, jigsaw puzzles was created by painting a picture onto a flat rectangular piece of wood, and then you cut it into little pieces. And John Spilsbury, who was a London cartographer and engraver, is credited with commercializing the jigsaw in 1760. So it's been around for a while. And what he did was he took world maps, because he's a cartographer, he cut out the individual nations with a marquetry saw, and then he gave them to students to reassemble them so that they were solving the geography of the world. So that is
Nice.
the origin of
I
where that
like,
jigsaw idea came from.
I like
So
it.
that's a wooden jigsaw. Now, cardboard jigsaws appeared in the late 1800s, but they didn't really take off very quickly because the wooden jigsaw lovers thought that the cardboard ones looked a little bit cheapy.
Yeah,
But
cheesy.
eventually they took off because making wooden ones was much more expensive. So, Great Depression. Oh, what are we going to do? Jigsaws are taking off, a bit like Scrabble. And it's around this time that they evolve and they become appealing to adults as well. And they're a cheap form of entertainment. Sales of wooden puzzles fall during World War II, and they move into these paper cardboard ones. Imagine the die cutting machine for making a jigsaw puzzle. It's like this giant boom, boom, boom metal cookie cutter, and it cuts out the pieces using very, very sharp edges and 1,100 tons of pressure.
Bang.
That's a lot of pressure. So, interesting jigsaw terminology. The rounded tab on
Yes.
the puzzle piece is called an interjam, and the hollowed out piece is called the blank. Did you know that a 1,000 piece jigsaw puzzle does not actually contain 1,000 pieces?
What?
I know, it's a big fib. Most of them contain 1,008 or 1,026 pieces, which is the number required to make the correct shape. Fun fact, the Wikipedia logo is a globe made out of jigsaw pieces, with the incomplete sphere symbolizing the space to add new knowledge. Now, do you remember back in the day a jigsaw puzzle called Spilt Milk? It was
No.
all white. It was in the
Oh,
shape of
really?
yeah, it was in the shape of a blob of milk that had been spilt, and it was called Spilt Milk. And it was, oh God, thanks a lot for that gift. And one of the most difficult ones I've ever done was Jackson Pollock's Blue Poles. Whew.
How did you do the spilt milk one where there was no change in just trial and error?
Yeah, trial and error. Do your head in like mad. Look for the border first. Look for the hard edges first and work in.
Well, there's
Horrible.
also those, you can buy jigsaw puzzle gifts of your family photographs and stuff like that. I've been there and done that. Have you
Oh,
done
you
that?
actually did that. Oh,
Yeah.
how charming. What a
Yeah.
lovely present.
Well, that's great. You've inadvertently, I've given you a whole lot of games to talk about in the last couple of episodes.
I know. That's
Boy,
because I'm just such a playful kid.
you and your
I love
Chinese finger
games.
cuffs and your Scrabble sets and your whatever. Whereas I'm a bloke, and so I get to talk about things like duct tape and WD-40.
WD-40.
Yeah. So you know what it stands for, WD-40? Do you?
Yes, water displacement.
Water
40.
displacement
It was the
formula number
40th
the
experiment.
40th. They got it right on the 40th go. So no, back in 1958, the Rocket Chemical Company of San Diego, which has got a great name for a company, they succeeded in their 40th attempt, as mentioned, to come up with a product that would prevent rust and corrosion on aircraft. So that's WD-40. But within a couple of years, they realized that this lubricant had all sorts of other household uses, preventing rust, moisture displacement, and it was made available to punters by 1961. So there's a global fan club of WD-40 folk who list all the different things that they have used it for, and we're up to over 2,000 situations and scenarios. Yeah, super, super useful. I'll have to say, though, that the advertising over the years has sometimes been of questionable taste. Here's the copy of an ad from the 1960s, and I quote, don't blame me for this. Do you have tight nuts or a rusty tool? Then use WD-40 in the man-sized pressure pack. Stands 9 inches high, 1.5 inches diameter, complete with red knob.
Oh, wow.
I know. The ad goes on to double down on the double entendre, but we'll spare you any of those details.
Where's my pineapple?
I know. There's a theme emerging. A 1993 story in the World, a Weekly World News claims that a squirt of WD-40 could cure arthritis, which is bullshit. But that was the inspiration for its starring role of Windex in the 2002 film My Fat Greek Wedding.
Greek Wedding.
Maybe. So WD-40's formula is a trade secret. So they've never patented it over the years. They just keep it a secret. But in 2009, Wired magazine published an article with the results of gas chromatography and mass spectrometry tests on WD-40, showing that the principal components were mineral oil, hydrocarbons, and a range of different alkanes, whatever they are. So WD-40 loosens things up, and duct tape tightens things up. So they're often mentioned.
That's all you need, really.
They're mentioned, and there's a geeky engineer's drawing that I'll throw up onto the video, which shows a little flow chart of what you need to do if something is loose or something is too tight. And really, the only two things you need are WD-40 and duct tape.
Perfect.
Finally, for some reason, it's kind of confusing why, but WD-40 seems to feature in a whole bunch of like country songs, mostly country songs. And our favorite, we found a song actually named WD-40 by a country group called Muscadine Bloodline. And when I was writing this story, I know that I played this song over and over again, much to Melanie's chagrin, because I don't think she really liked the song. But I'm going to quote some of the lyrics, the chorus lyrics. Thought that was all I needed till you came around to loosen things up and hold them down. But the taste of your kiss on my lips always working for me. Gal, you know your love can fix anything like duct tape and WD-40.
Wow, that's
really,
great.
You really had to be there. You really had to be there. I didn't
I
do
don't
it
know.
justice.
I'm quite happy I'm over here.
I didn't do it justice. You'll have to listen.
Okay, I have another use for WD-40 to add to your list.
Okay.
And we were at a friend's fancy dress party, and the theme was dress arty. And one of the guests had dressed as Salvador Dali, and he was going somewhere else after the party. So he wanted to get rid of the moustache that he'd drawn on his upper lip to look like Salvador Dali. So we were ransacking this person's house, and we found WD-40 in the laundry, and it took off his moustache, which was drawn on. Which was
fantastic.
Drawn on. Yep, magic.
Oh, well,
Magic stuff.
2,501 uses for WD-40.
Exactly.
I'll connect you with the fan club.
Perfect. Coal moustache removal. I've got another puzzle for you. I'm into puzzles and games. Chinese finger trap. You know these. They're this little simple puzzle where you trap the victim's fingers, usually the index fingers, in the tubes of a cylinder that's made of woven bamboo. So imagine that's in the
I
middle
know
there.
them. I love them.
Oh, they're beaut. Now, when you've got your two index fingers, and if you've got the video, you can see my fingers there floating. The initial response, if you've got your two fingers stuck and stuck in a cylinder, you would think that you go and you pull your fingers
apart.
outward,
Get
but
out of
that
there.
only tightens the grip. So that's not the thing to do. The way to escape is to counterintuitively push the ends toward the middle, which enlarges the opening and frees the fingers. And it's a stocking stuffer. It's a gag toy you get in a joke shop. It's been around since at least 1870. There was a thing called the Mörtchenfinger, or the girl catcher, and it was adapted for use in orthopedic medicine as a natty way to extend fingers and arms by Dr. Steinberger, who was a dentist in Vienna. I don't know what he's doing, stretching arms and legs and fingers.
Well,
but
he's a torture doctor.
yeah, he said, come over here. He's a dentist. So this is just a natural thing that tightens when you do things like that. It's called the Chinese finger trap, but is it actually Chinese? Well, some think that it originated in the Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644, in China as a torture device. Others say that is bunk, absolute nonsense, and it was just an example of the word Chinese being used to mean exotic. Doesn't matter. It's a party trick, and it's been popularized in popular culture. Star Trek, The Addams Family, The Simpsons, Mulan 2. That's maybe Chinese origins. And also season 1 of the Apple TV series Severance, where the character Dylan keeps a mug full of these finger traps on his desk that he has earned for his productivity.
Exemplary productivity, yes.
And then there was this, dare I say, and I won't use the word, a film starring the actor Jennifer Lawrence not so long ago, where she inadvertently pulls on a Chinese finger trap that is gripped around a gentleman's willy.
Oh dear.
In a rom-com called No Hard Feelings.
Oh, got it.
This is a rather saucy episode, I think, of REMORANDOM this time. But interestingly, the Chinese finger trap is a metaphor for a problem that can be overcome by relaxing. So the idea is, don't try too hard to solve it. Just accept and commit, like ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy. So you just get rid of all those difficult thoughts and just go with the flow, in other words. But you know what this trap reminds me of, Remo?
What?
It reminds me of an episode of Get Smart,
Yes.
where the craw, not craw, the craw is doing the old bamboo stalks under the fingernails trick. Remember that?
I'm trying to remember that. So that was like a torture reference. It wasn't the actual finger trap, though, was it?
No, it was not, but it was always referred to like
I thought you were
Maxwell
going.
Smart
I thought you were
refers to
going to
it.
the cone of silence there for a minute. So I'm glad.
Well, you wouldn't have heard me. Oh, actually, you would have heard me, which is the whole point of the
Claudia,
cone of
you are
silence.
always good for a Bugs Bunny or a television from the 1960s and 70s reference. And once again, you haven't disappointed. And I'm happy. I'm happy.
That's good.
And
Excellent.
and we're right on time. And time to say goodbye again for this episode of REMORANDOM, as Claudia pointed out, a rather racy one.
Wow.
So check us out, subscribe, buy our books. You can find them online, remorandum.com, and what else?
And email us with suggestions of fantastic topics like the upside down pineapple
We
or the
need
Chinese finger
topics.
torture.
We're writing in the process of collecting stories for Memorandum 5, and
Yeah.
we need good ideas. Please get back to me, and Thanks, Claudia. Have a nice day.
See you next time.
We'll see you next time. Bye.